What's up YouTube, it's your boy Rhett, back at it again with another video. Over the last 3.5 years, I have read 140 books. It's a lot. I don't recommend really that anyone does this. And that's because most of those books were a complete waste of time. And the category of books that was the biggest waste of time by far was self-help books. So in this video, I'm gonna save you a ton of time. Instead of reading those 140 books for yourself, I'm going to tell you what every single self-help book boils down to. If you watch the end of the video, you're gonna find out how every single self-help book is the same, why you shouldn't bother reading them, and what you should be doing instead. With that being said, go down below, smash the like button. That's gonna help you not read self-help books. And even better, it's gonna help me defeat the self-help book industry by spreading these great ideas all across YouTube to the great YouTube watchers. Quick caveat though here at the top of the video, if you read less than one book a year, self-help books can probably actually help you. So if you're currently reading not at all, go ahead, fix that, and just go read a book. If you're really overwhelmed by people telling you to read and you don't know what to read and you don't really like to read and you were forced to read things in school that you didn't really like, I've got a great solution for you. And that's that you should basically just go read magazines or go read articles, go read something that interests you. The way that I got into reading was just by going on Bleacher Report and reading sports articles. So you could do something similar for whatever you're interested in. In the words of the great Naval Ravikant, read what you love until you love to read. Also in the words of the great Naval Ravikant, all self-help boils down to choose long-term over short-term. This is true of even the best self-help books. The entire premise of Atomic Habits, which is an excellent book, or really any book with the word habits in its name, is that habits will help you keep on track in the long term. Habits are going to allow you to not just get over your problem tomorrow, but get over your problem a year from now, and 2 years from now, and 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. And on the other side of the coin, they're not just going to fix your problem magically by tomorrow. They're going to help you create structures that you can put in place in your own life that will help you overcome challenges and reach your goals, not tomorrow, but a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now. The main idea from one of my favorite books, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big by Scott Adams, is the idea that systems are better than goals. And that's because systems thinking is long-term thinking. How can I create a system that's going to help me overcome any sort of problem that comes up that's related to whatever I'm creating the system for? Goal-based thinking is short-term thinking. How can I lose 10 pounds? It doesn't say what happens after you lose the 10 pounds. Are you putting the 10 pounds back on? What's better than setting a goal to lose 10 pounds is creating a system to eat healthy and go to the gym, which is also advice in that book. And it comes back to this whole idea of long-term thinking versus short-term thinking. The book Getting Things Done by David Allen is an entire book about creating productivity systems in your life so that you can achieve more in your day. It's not about maximizing the output of your day tomorrow, because maybe your day tomorrow is going to be really busy and you're not going to get a lot done. But it's about increasing your output in the long term. If you get 1% better every single day for an entire year, you'll be 37 times better than you were at the beginning of the year. On the other hand, if you get 1% worse every single day for the entire year, it's not that you're 99% of what you were at the beginning of the year. You're actually only 3% of what you were at the beginning of the year. And this is another great idea from Atomic Habits, which again is a really great book, and you should read it if you haven't read it. But this idea of prioritizing long-term over short-term is the thesis of every single self-help book. So you don't need to go read 900 self-help books, you can just read one. Prioritizing long-term over short-term is such agreed upon advice that it has even transcended the self-help genre. In finance, the concept of prioritizing long-term thinking over short-term thinking is called time preference. If you need something right now and you're prioritizing short-term thinking, in finance and in time preference language, that's called having high time preference. And then on the other hand, if you can put off that reward until later, and if you're in a long-term thinking mindset, in finance, that's called low time preference. A famous illustration of low time preference versus high time preference can be found in Stanford's famous 1972 marshmallow experiment. Basically, the experimenter gives a child one marshmallow and tells them that if they can wait a certain amount of time, then when the experimenter comes back, they will give the child a second marshmallow if the child doesn't eat the marshmallow in that first amount of time. However, if the child caves and has high time preference and needs to eat the marshmallow right away, they're not rewarded with a second marshmallow for being patient and having low time preference. So in follow-up studies over the next 10 years or 20 years, later parts of the child's life, it was found that the children that had low time preference, who were able to wait for that second marshmallow, had generally better life outcomes, including higher SAT scores and lower BMI. Obviously, SAT scores and BMI are not the gold standard or even totally reputable measures of intelligence or of physical fitness, but the point remains. Continuous learning and continuous exercise are textbook examples of having low time preference. Setting aside time to learn a new skill might be a ton of work for you right now, and it might eat up a lot of your time, but later on, the future you who has learned that skill is going to be a lot more marketable and is going to be able to make a lot more money by incorporating that skill into the other skills that you've cultivated over your lifetime. Additionally, while going to the gym today might not be very easy or very fun, maybe you're going to be sore tomorrow, maybe you really don't want to go, maybe it's easier to just sit at home. The results that you get from going to the gym consistently over a long period of time, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, those results that you've created are going to be totally worth it when you can fit into the clothes that you want to wear and when you can run around and play with your kids 10 years from now. There's all sorts of benefits that building up your body and making yourself stronger just give you in everyday life. Maybe you need to lift your suitcase into the overhead compartment of an airplane when we can travel again, hopefully someday. Maybe you want to be able to carry a bunch of groceries back to your house and it's really hard for you right now, but if you work at it for a year, that might not be as hard for you anymore. Putting in the time right now to develop those habits and to develop those skills and thinking for long term and not thinking about, all right, how is this going to help me immediately tomorrow, but how is this going to help me over the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, is going to change the things that you think of are valuable right now and are not valuable right now. Eating a donut, not that valuable. Eating healthy foods every single day for the next year, going to be really great. Bottom line is keeping low time preference is going to be a totally worthwhile investment no matter how you implement it in your life. So what are some examples of some low time preference activities that you could be doing right now? The easiest one to start doing if you're not doing it is just start reading books. Reading books is low time preference because you're taking time to learn something now that you're going to be able to implement over the rest of your life. So if you get some golden nugget of wisdom from some book that you're reading, that's not just immediately useful for you tomorrow, that's going to be useful for you a year from now, 2 years from now, etc., etc. However, this gets back to the whole self-help genre thing, right? You don't want to be reading 40 books a year that are all saying the exact same thing in a different way. A better way to find great books to read is to identify a topic that you want to know a lot more about and then start reading through entire lists of those books. So if you wanted to learn more about cooking, you would go look up 20 cookbooks, and then that's going to give you a lot of information about the subject from a ton of different perspectives. And you can do this with whatever you're interested in. There are all sorts of book lists out there that are going to teach you a lot. I'd say just stick to core fundamental books and prioritize older books that have been around for a while rather than new flashy fancy books that just came out last year. The old books are great because you know that since they've been around for a while and people are still reading them, that there's something really good about them or there's some fundamental material in there that is worth learning about. And you can get started with your reading journey today for free over at Audible. On this channel, I try to only recommend services that I use almost every day or on a very frequent schedule, and services that I really love. Audible definitely falls into both those categories for me, and it's a great way to learn about pretty much anything. I'm currently listening to The Bitcoin Standard by Saif Dean Amis, and the information from that book has actually partly inspired this video. In the book, Saif Dean talks about why time preference is important for building wealth, how Austrian economics and hard money advance art, technology, and culture, and why Bitcoin is the hardest money ever created. So if you use the link in the description, Audible is going to give you up to 2 free audiobooks with Audible Premium Plus. You can use that link down below to get any of the books that I've talked about in this video completely for free, and using that link is going to help out the channel, which I would really appreciate. To recap, instead of reading dozens of self-help books like me, which is, in my opinion, a complete waste of time. Instead, if you're ever stuck or if you have a question, what should I be doing? Just think about what is the lowest time preference action that you could be taking. Is it going to the gym to improve your health? Is it investing or building a business to boost up your finances? Is it reading something you're really interested in or watching any of the videos on my channel to improve your brain? If you keep low time preference, you're gonna succeed in the long run. You might not succeed tomorrow, it might take you a year, it might take you 2 years, it might take you 3 years, but eventually you're going to succeed. And you might have to course adjust along the way, but eventually you're gonna get there. So if you learned something from this video, go ahead down below, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. That's gonna help other people find this video and hopefully it can be as helpful to them as it was to you. Comment down below what you're reading right now, or if you've started doing any habits or any low time preference activities that you really enjoy and that you think have made your life any better. I'd love to hear about them down in the comments. I do respond to all the comments as well, so if you have any questions or video ideas for the future, go ahead and leave those down there as well. And subscribe for more tech, money, and success videos that come out every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. I love you all. Goodbye.